first grade. Today we're going to work on the second skill for Unit 5, Week 4. The main story is called Boat Travelers. Remember, the name of the main story for each week will help you find the right page. The page that we're going to work on today is page 155, and this is what I call the second skill. And it's going to help you read words this week that show up in stories and in paperwork that you fill out. So we're going to practice the sound spelling for the second skill, which has its own name, and I wrote it on the board so we could read it together. It's kind of a cool word. Can you read it by yourself? It says suffixes. Say suffixes. Now it has an ES ending. That means that there's more than one. If you just had one, you would call it a suffix, and you wouldn't have the ES there. But today we're going to learn about more than one suffix. Now let's think about some words we've already learned that use suffixes. Now, I might not have used that word in class, and I don't know about Miss Curtis or Miss Van Gerwen either. We might have just called it a word ending, which is the same thing. But as we're getting smarter and reading more, we can change our vocabulary a little bit to use a word that describes something you already know, right? So today, suffixes are going to be practiced. And let's look at some suffixes you've already practiced, you've already learned. Now I did the strategy where I wrote the base word in black and I added the important part, the suffix, in red. Let's read the first one together. Softly. The suffix ly changed the meaning of the word soft to tell you that something is being done in a soft way, softly. She spoke to me softly. Okay, so suffixes change the meaning of a base word. Here's the next word, careful. See the suffix ful? It means to do something in a full way. Careful. To do something in a careful way, right? Full of care. So we've already used these words in sentences. We've already used them in spelling tests. So you've already practiced using suffixes. You just might not have known it was called a suffix. Let's look at a couple base words that we can add a suffix to today. What I did was wrote the base word in black, and then I covered the suffix that you're going to learn about today. So let's look at your base word. The first one is buzz. Say buzz. But look at the suffix that I added today. ER. So now it doesn't just say buzz, it says buzzer. Let's look at this next base word. Sail. Sailor. And I said that wrong, so I'm going to say it better. Sailor. Not sailor. Don't pronounce it with the OR. Say it like Mrs. Coppola. Sailor. We have to be careful about that. Today we have two suffixes that are spelled differently but sound the same. Can you see what they are? They're the ER or the OR. Okay? And the last base word is paint. And the suffix is ER. And we read it painter. Now let's find out what it means to add ER or OR to a base word. What does it mean? We know what the LY and the FUL mean on this side. We know about the LY and the FUL. But what do we know about ER and OR when we put those letters at the end of a base word? Buzzer. Well, that would be something that buzzes. Sailor. That would be a person that sails. Painter, a person that paints. Okay, so let's try it again with a few more words. I'm going to remove this sign to reveal this board. And again, in red letters, I have the important ideas. Suffixes. Say it again. Suffixes. Now look at the suffixes that we're going to use today, and I'm going to describe with a little more detail what they mean. ER or or means a person or thing that does something. It's going to sound the same even though we spell it differently. Okay, and we'll practice that as we go. Do you remember the base word buzz? When we add the ER, it means a thing that buzzes. Do you remember the base word sail? When we added OR, a person that sails. Okay, let's try a few more words now and we'll try to understand them. Okay. I'm going to switch my boards again. I'll have to get it in position. Thanks for being patient again. So I made a T-chart. And let me move my board a little bit. Let me move my view for you. Okay, I made a T-chart and I sorted words today with the suffixes ER and OR. Let's look at the base word in black. Play. When I add the ER, I can read player. Player is a person that plays. You are a player, right? Because you play. Now, let's use it in a bigger word. How about baseball player? A person that plays baseball. Next word. Base word point, ER. Pointer. I can use my pen as a pointer. I'm pointing to the word. A thing that points. Next word. And I'll use my pointer to find it. The base word is beep. Beeper. A thing that beeps. Like my timer in class or one of your teacher's timers. When it goes off and it makes a beeping noise, well, that's a beeper. A thing that beeps. Let's go to the next one. Open is the base word. Opener. Have you ever used a can opener? A thing that opens. Base word. Toast. Toaster. Do you have a toaster? A thing that toasts? And the last one, base word is teach, but I add the ER and I have a person that teaches, a teacher. Everybody say teacher, a person that teaches. Now I'm on the OR side. Now the OR side, remember, it sounds just the same as the ER, but it's spelled differently. So you're learning about a lot of words that do that. Remember the first skill with OI and OY? They sound the same, but they're spelled differently. Let me show you, okay? Now we've used the word sailor a few times already. A person that sails is called a sailor. But I don't say sailor. I say sailor. Say it with me, sailor. The next word, the base word is act, but when I add the OR, I'm telling you about a person that acts, an actor. But I don't say actor. Sounds kind of silly, doesn't it? Actor. I say an actor. Here's the next word. The base word is invent. But when you invent something, you're an inventor. Say inventor. Next week, our main story is going to be about a famous inventor. His name is Alexander Graham Bell. And he's the person that invented the very first telephone. Not this one that I would use today. But he invented the very first telephone that looked different. And he's an inventor. The next word, the base word is collect. But when I add the OR, the word is now collector. Are you a collector? I think you are. Do you collect special rocks that you find? Do you collect stuffed animals? Do you collect books? I think you're a collector. In fact, in my class, we've talked about that before because it was an amazing word. When we collect things, we consider them treasure. Remember that big idea back in class when we talked about what could be treasure and what people collect? I remember that with you. And the last word, the base word is edit, but I read the word with the suffix editor. An editor is somebody who reviews things or corrects things. When we do a fix it together in class and we find the mistakes, we're editing. We're editors because we find other people's mistakes and we help them fix their mistakes. That's what an editor does. So when we use the suffixes er or or, we're describing a person or a thing that does something. Now, when you do your paperwork today, remember that page I told you about? I think that was page 155. That's what you're going to do. You have a word bank at the top, and you're going to use those words to describe what the people are doing in the pictures. And then down here, you get to draw a picture of a word with a suffix. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in today, and I'll be bringing you another lesson soon. See you later.